Rent prices are getting out of hand. Let's talk about it.
How much do you pay for rent in New York?
$17.50.
Could I have a tour of your apartment?
It's a micro studio, is that okay?
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Welcome to my 80 square foot apartment.
Entire apartment right here. Look at me laying down, like I almost laid down the entire apartment. I seriously had no idea where the bed was gonna come from.
What about for you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the whole apartment. That's insane. How much?
$17.50 for a. Now, I've heard like of studio apartments before. Never heard of a micro studio. But $17.50 to stay in that. I mean, I guess if your whole goal is to really stay in New York, hey, yeah, you got it. You're paying $17.50, but like, what is that quality of life? It's just one straight path, and the guy was able to walk it in like 5 or 6 steps. I personally think that's insane. I would never, in my right mind, pay for that. I don't care if I'm living in New York on $17.50. I think that's an absolute scam. I'm sure that's on the more tame side of things in New York, but regardless, I think that is absolutely insane.
What's the highest rent that you've paid for an apartment in Vancouver?
I have a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And we pay around 2,300.
Each?
No, for the whole thing.
And do you live by yourself?
No, with my couple.
And what about you?
I live with another roommate. It's 2 bathroom, and we pay 4,000 a month.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's 2,000 each.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Seymour in front of the house on Court.
And where do you live?
Downtown.
Right now I'm paying 1,100 and I live by myself, so I think I got like a really good deal.
You got a really good deal.
Yeah, I know, right?
Where do you live?
Near the 29 SkyTrain stations.
1,150.
Okay, and do you live by yourself or you have roommates?
Roommate.
And where do you live?
Here. Just.
In West End?
Yes.
I pay $3,200 for rent. I don't pay a lot of rent because I moved out of my place when it was like COVID times. So then I think I'd probably be paying around $1,600.
And you have your own place?
Yes, I live with my wife. Economically, it's not really a struggle, but I do reckon that a lot of places like right next to me are, in the 3,000.
Not terrible. I guess I really don't know the Vancouver area or like what's considered downtown, what's not, what's considered like a more rural area. But I mean, even if you just take we'll just say the 2,000, between the 2,000 and the $3,000 a month, that hits the paycheck hard. Because I mean, you got to think if you're bringing in, I mean, let's say $5K net, so like with all your taxes, everything taken out, your benefits paid for and whatnot, you're taking $5,000 home, you're paying $3,000 on rent. Yeah, I guess it leaves you $2,000, but it's, I don't know, it's just a kind of a weird situation because yes, I mean, obviously we all need a place to live, especially if you move for work, like you don't have family that you can live with where you work, and you got to go into an office. Yeah, I guess you will have to pay money, but I always hated the idea of renting because, yeah, I mean, you can argue, I mean, you got to eventually move out. Eventually, like if you have to, leave your hometown to go to a job. Yes, I guess it makes sense. Like you probably don't want to just go right into buying a house wherever you move because you may not like it. You may not like it. You may not like the job you're at for the next few years to come. But I always just hated the thought of, having to go out and spend $2,000 to $3,000 on rent, because you're not building any equity in anything. At least, if you were to pay this into a mortgage, then yes, you're paying off a house that you will eventually own. You're building equity inside that home as you pay it off. But in rent, it's like you're not getting any sort of benefit. You're just kind of, I mean, if you think about it, you're just kind of throwing money down into a black hole. Like it's not growing for you. It's not helping you in any way. I guess if you want to say it helps you build credit, but I mean, if you own a credit card and you buy stuff on that, I think you're pretty well good. So I don't personally want to spend that kind of money on rent. I know some places it's that's just the realistic expectation, but anyway, my 2 cents on that at least.
Come with us as we talk to people in Boston about how much they pay in rent.
So I pay $9.50 for a bedroom, which was the lowest rate I found anywhere north of Boston, south of Boston, and even in Boston.
$2,900.
I pay $650.
You pay that much for one room in a shared place, or is that the whole thing?
I have not started paying rent yet, but I'm going through the process of looking for rent, and it's looking crazy. Fucking like $1,500 for a shoebox. This is wild.
Are you comfortable sharing how much you pay in rent?
Not really. No.
Are you comfortable sharing how much you pay in rent?
Yes.
How much do you pay in rent?
About $1,300.
Is that you alone? Do you split it? Do you have roommates? Oh, okay.
It's a non-profit
Yeah.
that owns it. They're trying to keep, people in the neighborhood. I mean, I've been there 6 years and my rent's only gone up $95.
Do you rent?
I actually, as a college student, it's been a little hard finding places to live, and studio, it's like not less than $1,300.
Come with us as we talk.
I mean, those rent prices don't seem too crazy. What is it, like 1,300, and I think like the highest someone mentioned was 2,600. Not too crazy, I guess, in Boston. I mean, I can only imagine the rent would be crazy up there. But I mean, I guess it really depends on, what does $1,300 get you, apartment wise. Where's the location? Is it actually in Boston, or is it outside of Boston, a more rural area, a more sketchy area, maybe the hood or the ghetto or whatnot? But yeah, interesting take there. I didn't really expect to hear 1,300, even considering being in Boston or around Boston. So not too bad there.
How much does it cost to rent a house in the Philippines? For example, here is a new house. Air conditioning split system, more economical. Studio with a large bed, bed linen and pillows included in the price. Kitchen with everything you need, refrigerator, stove, kettle and dishes. There is a table, chairs and even a TV. Toilet with shower, hot water, all plumbing is new. Only 4 units, which means only a few neighbors. Cool owners. Price 12,000 pesos per month. It's $216. Free Wi-Fi, electricity and water are not included. How do you like this price? Expensive or cheap? Write in the comments.
I mean, obviously, this is based in the Philippines, so can't really compare it to US prices. But I mean, for all my guys and girls who are thinking of, hey, get into a certain portfolio number or like monetary value, like total assets wise, and moving abroad, I mean, $216 for a solid apartment like that. I think in the video they mentioned Wi-Fi, electricity, and water is not included. But I mean, at a base like $216 price, even if we just be super conservative and say, hey, that's an extra $100 for the Wi-Fi, water, electricity, you're looking at what, like $316 a month? That's insane. I've yet to hear a number that low in the couple videos tied to the United States rent in the different cities. But obviously in the Philippines, it's definitely going to be a lot cheaper. So just kind of another perspective if you were considering, hey, eventually I'm going to move out of the States and move abroad. Philippines could be an option for you if you're looking to save a lot of money there.
We saw the number and it was just insane. It's literally doubling what we're paying right now.
We never expected that much of a hike. I mean, that was just a real shock to us.
This apartment is not worth $3,500. There is nothing worth $3,500 in New York City.
Rents in New York City are at an all-time high. In June 2022, citywide median asking rent reached $3,500. That's about a 35% increase from 2021. The median asking rent is $4,100 in Manhattan, $3,200 in Brooklyn, and $2,600 in Queens. Half the renters in New York City spend more than 30% of their income on rent, and a third of renters spend more than 50%.
My mom called me the other day and she's like, you're 31, you should own property. And I literally said, with what money? Because it all goes to my rent.
Wow. I mean, obviously this is probably a few years old now, considering, they're comparing 2021 prices to 2023, but yeah, I mean, obviously I don't live in New York, so I didn't really see the price hike there or really understand it, but 35% increase from 2021 to 2023 is pretty insane. I don't know. I mean, but still, like, I would think for New York, those median prices still don't sound insane to me. I don't know. I've always heard like New York is just that much more expensive, but you know, considering the salaries are typically higher, being one up north too, especially in New York. So I think it would kind of balance out with the rent a little bit, but that's still, I mean, was it like 3,600 and then like ranging to like $4,000 a month on rent? I think I said what, over 30% of people use 30% of their paycheck to pay for rent. I don't know if it was like 50%, over 50% of their paycheck. So I mean, that's insane right there. I mean, I guess with that being said, maybe it doesn't, maybe the wages don't so much equalize the rent and like what you're making on a monthly basis. They don't really kind of balance themselves out there, at least from what this video is saying. So at the end of the day, you know, paying $3,600 to $4,000 a month on rent to be in New York, maybe if you do it for a year or two to say, hey, you know, I experienced it, I lived in New York City, but you know, what I've seen the past few years, New York has definitely gone downhill. It's definitely not what it was like maybe in the 2000s, 2010s and whatnot. And obviously, you know, as prices increase, it just makes it even worse, makes it harder to live there. So
I did a whole video recently that's about buying versus renting in today's market, and I analyzed the average price based on the average income of a person versus the average rent. Rents are still substantially cheaper over the lifetime of the average ownership of 13 years.
Interesting.
If you plan to live in the home for less than about 11 and a half years. If you're gonna be in this house for the next 10 years, fantastic decision. If you're only gonna be in here a few years and then, you know, I might sell it and then move somewhere else, chances are it would have been way cheaper to rent.
You're totally right. I regret the decision overall financially. With the house and where it is and being close to friends, I don't regret it life-wise,
Yes.
but I definitely regret it financially.
Now, that's kind of a different perspective on it, different spin on it. Kind of comparing where, yeah, you're probably going to save some money renting compared to buying a house in 2023 in this video. I guess it ultimately depends, you know, kind of how the video broke it down. You know, if you plan on living in the house for probably 10 plus years, whether it be your forever home or you're going to stay there for a while, build your family, and then, you know, maybe when your kids finally leave the house, then maybe you'll sell it and move. But if you plan on keeping it for like 10 years or less, it would probably make more sense just to rent. I mean, I guess with the renting, it comes with the flexibility. Hey, like, hey, I lost my job down here. I don't have a house to worry about. You know, I could just break my lease, break my rent agreement, and kind of move to go somewhere else for a new job. Or if you just want to move around, you know, you're not tied down with a wife and kids or with a family, and you want to kind of explore different areas. Yeah, I would think renting would definitely just give you that flexibility, give you that freedom, and not have to worry about, you know, hey, well, I bought this house here. I can't really just up and move, go pay for rent somewhere else, and then also cover the mortgage on the home that I just left. So different way to look at it, at least. Not really a breakdown of numbers wise, but if you're not really looking to settle down in a specific location for the next 10, 15, 20 years or the rest of your life, I would definitely consider renting in different areas until you ultimately find where you want to live and see if it's livable when it comes to buying a house in that area.
Yo, how much you guys pay for rent in New York?
$3,100.
Could I get a tour of your apartment right now?
Yeah, we're heading there right now.
Yo, what up?
This is our kitchen, very spacious, as you can see, comparatively to lots of other New York kitchens. This is our dining room and bar cart. And this is our living room. We got the entertainment center, TV, couch, coffee table. This is my bedroom. Pretty spacious and pretty good for New York City bedroom, and it also leads us to the backyard.
Welcome to my room. It's a little bit smaller than Gabe's. I think it's pretty spacious, and I make the most out of it.
Nice closet space. Tall ceilings.
You're already in it, but this is our New York City backyard, and it's about the same size as the entire apartment.
You got your own tree back here.
Wow. I don't know what year this video was recorded, but $3,100 for an apartment like that. Yeah, I guess it was smaller all around, at least the build of the apartment structure. But I mean, pretty roomy, pretty spacious. I mean, as you saw, like the kitchen, the living room, having the beds, the two different rooms, having a backyard is kind of insane. I don't know if this is like smack dab in the middle of New York City, or if it's kind of on the outskirts. I can only assume it's probably on the outskirts a little bit based just on the price alone. But I know like that micro studio we watched earlier, I think she was paying what, $1,700, or I think it was $1,750 for like an 80 square foot micro studio, compared to what these guys are paying. What was it, $3,100 for, I didn't catch the square footage of their apartment, but at least it was, you know, it was obviously roomy. It was obviously some good space to give them there. So I can only assume, like I said, definitely on the outskirts of New York City, definitely not smack dab in the middle of it. But I guess that kind of really begs the question, are you willing to travel a little more for work, or to get into the big city, to get a bigger area to live, to get a more reasonable cost of living apartment wise? Or do you want to live in the middle of it all and, you know, live in a 80 square foot micro studio for almost $1,800? I guess that question ultimately falls on, you know, what you're looking to do, especially, you know, living in New York.
Oh my God, are you Ryan the realtor? No? Oh, this is Ryan the realtor.
That's me.
Hey, I'm looking for an apartment in Brickell. Can you help me out?
What criteria are you looking for?
She's looking for $3,000 a month here in Brickell.
Okay, well, there's a few options that we can do. We can do 9 at Mary Brickell Village, the Wind condominium.
Okay.
You can also do 500 Brickell. Tons of options. If you want more info, swipe up. I'm happy to send you a list.
Wow, thank you. Oh my God.
Okay, didn't really break down like apartments or money wise. But, you know, the title of the short is, you know, what apartments you can get for $3,000 in Miami. That doesn't sound horrible, especially being in Miami, Florida. You know, three grand a month. And then the locations it was showing, obviously they probably scale from maybe starting at 3,000 and only go up. But just considering the locations he mentioned, you know, being in Miami, Florida, $3 grand a month doesn't sound horrible. But, you know, I think it really, you know, at the end of the day revolves, you know, how much are you bringing in a month for income? What are your goals? You know, are you just wanting to live in Miami to experience the life for a year or two, or are you trying to settle down there? You know, prices are crazy in Miami, especially, you know, a lot of the big cities. You know, obviously, you know, going through a lot of these shorts, being based in New York. You know, I think can confidently say or come to the conclusion that, yeah, you know, the bigger cities typically are more money to live. You know, more job opportunities typically. More of a nightlife, or just an overall like opportunities to, you know, live or, you know, experience new adventures, I guess. And, you know, like I said, you know, really just ultimately comes down to, you know, what you're willing to pay a month. Can you comfortably afford it? Can you still continue to invest on the side? I mean, if you're dumping all your money on living in an apartment or living in a big city, and it doesn't leave you any money to invest, maybe if you do it for a year or two, like I said, to experience the Miami life or the New York City life, sure. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it, but, you know, some people, you know, definitely prioritize experiences over like financial comfort. So I guess, you know, my 2 cents there. I would love to hear your thoughts below. Kind of curious what your guys' rent is, or if you're currently renting, or if you're paying off a house, you know, what's your mortgage rate, or if you're still living at home, you know, shout out to the home livers, I guess. So I think I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Quick video, but definitely an interesting take on I guess for the most part, you know, New York City rent. And, you know, I guess the last one, rent in Miami. So I'm wrapping it up there, guys. I appreciate the support as always. You know, we're slowly growing, so I can't take that for granted at all. So as always, guys, this is the lunch table. I'll catch you in the next video. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and until next time.